Hello everybody, welcome back. This is EonShiKeno. I'm going to cast a best of 3 from MLG Columbia. I was going to say Dallas, but no, this is MLG Columbia. This is pool play, and we've got our two opponents here on Shakuros Plateau. We've got our blue Zerg in the top left side of the map. Moon, we made Fox Moon. He was one of the Koreans invited over to participate in MLG. And his opponent, Dignitas Naniwa, who was the previous MLG winner with a record of, I think, 26-2. So he definitely made a name for himself at the last MLG event. Definitely taking everybody by surprise. I mean, everybody, I think, not necessarily surprised, because a lot of people predicted he was going to win, but just his record was pretty insane. So we'll see what he can do here against this Korean Fox Moon. And both players are going to go for the scouting in the correct direction. Overlord's going to find Naniwa here, and Naniwa is going to find Moon with this probe. Let's see what type of build we got going here for Moon. No spawning pool yet, but over here in the front base of Naniwa, we'll probably see that standard Gateway Cybernetics Core Forge build. And then we have the pool going down, and the gas quickly following it from Moon. And we're probably going to see Naniwa just hang out here on patrol, and we have Moon coming over here with the second Overlord just to make sure he's not getting cannoned in or anything odd like that, or maybe a cannon hidden back here behind his mineral patch. Just going to see all this with this Overlord, get that in a pretty good position there. Now the expansion going to go down, so he's actually going to go Nexus first. Nexus on 15, and then he'll probably throw down his Forge and then Gateway, or actually maybe Gateway then Forge. I'm going to go for Forge first. But it's going to be a little bit before he gets gas. He's going to need to get a lot of minerals out. He's going to have to get at least one cannon up, maybe two if he suspects some type of roach play. But gas now being got for Moon. He's going to probably get speed out there. And Naniwa just going to still doing some scouting. Wants to make sure he wants to know when this expansion is going to go up, or if it goes up, and he wants to know whether or not there's going to be any type of a roach warren being built here by Moon. But so far, none of that happening yet. 4 Zerglings are out here for Moon. He's going to clear out this little position, see if Naniwa is going to throw up a pylon. Looks like he's not going to throw up that pylon, just going to run around and just make sure that expansion is going to get placed. And he's just continuing to keep running around there, blocking that expansion as long as possible. Moon has enough minerals, he can throw down that expansion, and there he's finally going to get it down. And this probe may actually get home. That's going to be close. It's got pretty low on life there. Looks like, what is that? 1 hit left. That thing is probably going to die. And just in time, the photon cannon does get up. Gateway there. Cyber, actually, he made 2 gateways. Okay. Going to go 2 gateways, and then, okay, he's going to cancel it. That was kind of odd. He probably just did it for the wall off. You have to wait until the first gateway finishes before you can build your Cybernetics Core. So fearing a Zergling run by, he just built the second gateway, canceled it once that gateway was finished, and replaced it with a Cybernetics Core. So Naniwa going to go out with another scout just to make sure that expansion does finish, and maybe look to see if there are any type of drone transfer. It's one thing you want to look for whenever you're going in for a scouting. Again, as Protoss, you want to see, okay, is he droning? Is he massing units? Something good to know whether or not you're going to be attacked anytime soon. And if you run in here right about the time this finishes and you see about 5 or 6 drones coming, it's pretty safe to assume that they're probably just droning. So Naniwa starting a warp gate research. Hasn't built any units yet. Probably going to make a sentry here pretty soon. And I really like this wall off he's got going here. He's got the photon cannon there in the back and a really strong wall off. I think this is a full wall off. No units can get in there with that build. 2 more gas here for Naniwa. None yet at his expansion. Harvester count basically even. 29 for Naniwa, 28 for our Zerg player Moon. A little big drone transfer over here. A lot of drones here for Moon. He's going to start pumping those drones, and he just threw down a 3rd. So Moon want to try and keep this economic lead that he's got going for him here. Throw up that 3rd. And this is something that a lot of Zerg players, they basically have 2 options. They can either go for a really strong attack with the 2 base, with the expansion, and try and attack, or they can just throw up a 3rd and then try and get even further ahead with the macro, because knowing that your opponent is doing this Forge expand, it really takes a while for the Protoss to build up an army, and it just gives you plenty of time to throw down a really quick 3rd, send some drones over there, and maybe put up a spine crawler or 2 for a little bit of defense. But it's definitely something we see quite often. So speed, of course, is finished, and we have 6 more drones coming out, another gas being built, and just now teching to hatchery. And Naniwa world, we got 3 more warp gates being warped in here, and this moon's overlord just scouted all that, so he sees there's 3 warp gates incoming. That'll bring Naniwa up to 4 warp gates, so nothing too crazy right there. It looks like these sentries from Naniwa are going to pick off this overlord. And there he goes. I love the way those things explode. They just explode and their guts fly all over the place. They would definitely be right at home in a horror movie or something like that. And 4 gas now for Naniwa. Pylon going down there. I want to make sure he doesn't get supply blocked. And now he's going to take up this forge, just so he can get outside of his base, actually. So now he's got some zealots and sentries, and a lot of drones being transferred over here by Moon. So still droning up. He should be pretty far ahead at this point. 54 versus 46. So yeah, Moon definitely with a pretty sizable lead. I think Moon only has actually 4 Zerglings. That's his entire army right now. But 12 Zerglings just now being made. He's got +1 attack on the way, Burrow on the way, Queen on the way, and Gluo Reconstitution, aka Roach Speed. 3 roaches on the way. So Naniwa going out for attack here. I think he's just faking it. Yeah, he's turning around already. I think Naniwa just wanted to fake maybe an attack, not necessarily planning on attacking. We saw a bunch of production units go out there, a bunch of forces there for Moon just pop out right there. So I'll be surprised if Naniwa actually continues this push. Moon did scout this a while ago, so he's had more than enough time to react, and Naniwa is actually going to go for it. This is quite odd. We'll see how this fight's going to go for him. Kind of running back and forth. Discerning what he wants to do, and Zealot going to come out here and do some scouting just to see if there's a third. He actually hasn't scouted that third yet. You can see from his vision in the minimap. Still hasn't scouted, but he's going to try and get it in there. Nope, going to get cut off by the Zerglings, and Moon is going to deny that scouting information. And it looks like Naniwa gave it a shot, tried to scout that out, but it did fail, and he's going to be forced to go back to his base. 13 roaches coming out. Now we got a robotics bay on the way up, and +1 attack for Naniwa. So after he rebuilt that forge, he's starting up those upgrades. Definitely is going to need that if he wants to get this into the mid and late game. Observer out for Naniwa. That guy's actually going to be able to figure out if there's a third or not, that's for sure. And Moon with these 2 Zerglings just keeping an eye on that third. We just saw him come down here, scout that out. You want to make sure in every game you play how many bases your opponent is running on, because that directly relates to how high their possible income can actually be. So he's going to see this drone transfer over here from Moon, so he's going to actually know that there's an expansion. They're going to go check just in case. And we got to see, look at this. Moon has a really great creep spread. He has so many overlords, and just quite a good job here with the creep tumors. And we see him just now taking a 4th down here in the bottom left part of the map. Probably pretty soon we'll see Naniwa flip a 3rd. Definitely have been seeing players prefer to take this 3rd against Zerg players, either Protoss or Terran, as opposed to this one over here. Just a little bit easier to defend. You can actually do a full wall off here quite easy with, I think, just 2 gateways or 2 barracks. And Roach is going to come over here, pick off this pylon, and he's going to get out of there. So Naniwa now supply blocked, and let's check the supply counts. 148.9 for Moon, 121 for Naniwa. Naniwa quickly getting unsupply blocked there, and he's going to be able to continue to produce units and more roaches coming out, and tunneling claws, and we're going to see a really heavy roach play here from Moon. He's getting quite a few upgrades, getting +2 attack, so it looks like Moon's going to stick to low tech units, but with upgrades on those tech units, he's going to get +2 attack upgrade here for those melee attacks. So those Zerglings will have +2 attack on them, and he's getting the Overlord sack upgrade. So we'll probably maybe see some, actually getting a Baneling Nest too. So I think the combination we're going to see from Moon here is roaches with Zerglings, and then Baneling drops from the Overlords on top of Naniwa's army. Definitely a really good combination. Whenever you want to do those Baneling drops, you definitely want to focus on the sentries, because taking out those sentries with the Banelings is very cost efficient, and it's really one of the worst things you can do to a Protoss player that's going really heavy sentry play whenever you're trying to go for really heavy Zerg play. So Naniwa poking up here with 2 Colossus. We'll see what he's going to try and do here. And we have the Telling Claw upgrade here for Moon. Supply count 184 versus 155. Let's check the army value. 4,000 versus 4,200, so very similar right there. Zergling's going to come in here and try and snipe some units, and I don't think he actually killed the Stalker there. Going to throw down some photon cannons for a little bit of static defense there by Naniwa. And Moon getting 2 gas up here quick on his 4th. Definitely Zerg players need that gas very heavily. As soon as they get up that 3rd and 4th base, gas is definitely a premium. as it is in the real world right now. Overseer going to come out here, and we have a little changeling going to try and get out, but no, his suit isn't cool enough. He didn't fool anybody, and going to try and pick off a stalker there. Nope, not going to happen. Naniwa, not going to have none of that, and he's staying back here into these close positions next to this wall. He doesn't want to get out in the open against the Zerg player. Not going to be a smart move to go with there. A lot of banelings being produced here by Moon, and we're going to see these overlords get loaded up. Do they have the speed upgrade? Yes, they do. And we're going to have a big fight here pretty soon. Naniwa actually is his third just now up and going. He's going to start transferring units there probably pretty soon. Here we go. See the transfer coming here from the main. Don't really want to have that many probes here at the main. Want to keep your triangle base saturated as evenly as possible. And it looks like Naniwa's going to go out for an attack. Uh-oh, Moon's getting ready. He's got those overlords full of those banelings. Those guys are ready to pop. And it looks like Moon's going to go on the aggressive here. He's got about 200 supply, so he's completely maxed. He's, from this point on, just banking resources. We have the baneling speed just now finishing, so that's going to be really critical. And we got the Spire up and going, or almost up and going, plus 1 armor on the way also. Naniwa making in some more stalkers. He's pretty close to this, and it looks like we're going to have a big attack here. Baneling's going to come in from the top. And this is going to be really about positioning and how much damage those banelings are going to do. And anyway, just continue to back up, throw down some force fields. Those roaches are not going to get in. Banelings chasing the rest of that army. And is he going to kill anything else? Ooh, may get the Colossus. No, he's going to get there in the back, but wow, he almost killed that one Colossus. Warping in some more units. And going to pick off that Overseer. So Moon actually supply blocked after that, and you can kill a couple more Overlords. But I think Moon actually managed to kill every single one of the sentries that Naniwa had. I can see he's got no sentries left. We can check the unit tab. Yep, no sentries, 3 zealots, 4 colossi, and 16 stalker. But we can check the harvester count. 67 for Moon and 76 for Naniwa. So Naniwa with a pretty large harvester lead at this point. More banelings on the way. Moon going to go in for another drop and try and get a good attack there. Naniwa doesn't have any sentries up at this point, so he's not going to be able to throw down those force fields to protect him, or actually delay the roaches, because the roaches do have burrow. They have tunneling claws that can go underneath the force fields and then get back into the face of Naniwa. So those force fields will not be here this fight. And we have a lot of corruptors out. Those are going to be really critical units in this upcoming fight. +1 attack, +2 armor for ground units, and 4 more gateways on the way. Naniwa doing a good job of keeping his production facilities up as he expands his bases, and he's going to pick off that expansion. Going to keep Moon trapped to 4 bases, and another base down here, 5th base going up for Moon. I don't think Naniwa has seen that yet. No, he has not seen that yet. Observer here, keep it in the front, keeping an eye out for all these units. Actually, I think he actually can see that he has an Overseer there. Nope, he doesn't see it yet, but he's probably going to kill that as he pushes out. Those corruptors will be able to kill that Observer. They do have air-to-air attack, and Naniwa's setting up a 4th down with a lot of photon cannons. And those roaches, there goes that Observer. But it looks like we're going to have a big attack here from Moon, replacing a couple of those roaches and banelings with corruptors. Those things will do a lot of damage versus those colossi. And Naniwa just kind of hanging out here in the back. We can see he's got a couple sentries now. Those are going to be extremely helpful. And he's just going to kind of come out here and do some poking. And both players are basically at 200 supply. We're going to have a big maxed versus maxed army fight coming up here. And is Moon going to go for an attack, or is he just going to try and take out the expansion, maybe try and bait Naniwa out by going for the expansion? But no, he's going to go straight in here for the fight. He's focusing down on the Colossus. Baneling's going to get dropped, maybe a little too prematurely. They do a lot of damage to those stalkers. Wow, he's just losing so many stalkers. Baiting back here a little bit, warping in some more units, and mostly stalkers up there in the front. It looks like he still has a couple sentries left alive in there. 4 sentries still left alive, so I don't know if he lost any sentries during that fight. So just kind of forcing Moon to drop some banelings and then fall back. Moon really hasn't committed to an attack yet. Just kind of been doing as much damage as he can with those banelings, and then does a fall back. Doesn't want to get too far back in that little corner back here, get trapped. He doesn't want to get force fielded in. Playing it safe, just trying to do as much damage as possible. So Naniwa now, how many gateways does he have? 4 here, and what is he up on, like 12 gateways right now? He's even has some more over here, so a lot of gateways now. Actually 15, yeah, 15, well actually there's 2 robos there, so 13 gateways for Naniwa, so he's got quite a bit of production. Looks like he's going to set up and take a 4th, and or at the same time Naniwa is going to push out here down and take out the 5th of Moon. And is Moon going to just let this die, or come in here and try and fight this off? He doesn't want to get in a bad position. There's so many Colossus they can, I think at this point they can probably one-shot those roaches with the number of Colossus, and Corruptors coming in from the great end. I'm going to get some corruption down and take out 2 Colossus down. And Moon got really great positioning here, and it looks like Forces is going to go down, trapping some roaches. Those guys are going to get picked off, but Moon is killing so many Colossi at this point. They're all dead. And now Naniwa kind of trapped back here in this corner. Force field's going to go down, save him a little bit, and looks like a couple of those corruptors are going to get picked off, but nothing too serious. So that fight, I think, actually went pretty well for Moon. He killed a lot of Colossi, which take a long time to replace. And we can see 11 Hydralisks being produced. That is definitely because he killed the Colossi. If those Colossi were not all killed off, I guarantee you he wouldn't have been making Hydralisks. Hydralisks are not a very good unit. When your opponent does have Colossi, they just die so fast because they're so weak. 80 life versus 145 for the Roach. 2 armor upgrades for all those ground units. Air units have +1 attack upgrades. And we have now some High Templar out for Naniwa. The Psionic Storm upgrade not finished yet. Moon going to try take a base for a base. He lost his expansion. He's going to try and drop Naniwa. So right here, is Storm finished? Not yet. Those High Templars can only do feedback, but nothing to feedback. Colossi getting focus fire down the Corruptors. Those guys are dead. Immortal trying to get in the mix there. He's going to do very well against those Roaches with +2 or +1 armor upgrades. And looks like Naniwa's just going to say, you know what, have the expansion. I've got 2 more. That's cool with me. So people trading some bases off, and Moon going to use these air units. Come down here and scout this base. That's a really nice use of these air units. I mean, they can fly. Why not go down there and just check it out? So he's going to come down here, check out this base in the bottom right. Those guys won't be able to do anything except look at it. And a very large probe transfer coming over here from Naniwa. And he's still doing some long distance mining from this base. He's probably going to rebuild that pretty soon. Moon, with mostly a Baneling, Roach, Hydra, Corruptor army now. Hasn't got any higher tech yet. Looks like he's getting quite a few upgrades though. Banelings now once again being loaded up into those Overlords. And both players are back up at supply max. So these players just been going back and forth, back and forth. Moon doing mostly the poking. And then Naniwa just coming in, poking, also trying to contain these outside 2 expansions as well he can. And it looks like we're going to have another big fight here at the entrance. The Storm is done. +1 attack upgrade for those ground units. It was almost done for Moon. He needs to get in there and deal as much damage with his Banelings as possible. And he's running. He's throwing out some force fields. He's going to try and pick off these air units while he can. That he does a really good job picking off all the Overlords. 2 of them get off the whoa. Just those 2 did so much damage. Storm going out there in the front. And it looks like Moon is going to fall back. And those Corruptors have nothing to shoot, as there have been no more Colossus. So I like to play there from Naniwa by switching it up straight to Immortal. Immortal, High Templar. Those Corruptors are going to be completely useless for the time being, unless he decides to micro well and throw down some Corruption. But 4 or 5 Corruptions really isn't going to matter in a game when there's 200 Supplier rolling around. The best use of those guys will be able to eventually morph into Broodlords, but I don't think he has his Spire. No, the Spire isn't upgraded yet. Not a greater Spire. Naniwa once again looking like he's going to push on here, take out this bottom expansion. Moon putting up defense is a little too late. This expansion is going to fall. And he actually may lose some drones here in the transfer. Unfortunately, bad timing for the drones. Those guys are all going to fall down. This High Templar's got quite a bit of energy. And once again, Banelings, almost getting in there to kill all those High Templar. Really nice job there from Moon, but even nicer job from Naniwa. Storm's going down right on top of all those Roaches and Hydra, and Naniwa is pushing in here. Is he going to try and wiggle his way up in here to this 4th and 3rd base? I don't know. Immortal's up to the front. 2 Storms going to go down, trying to keep those units at bay. Baneling just kind of rolling up the front. Baneling busting right up there at the front of those Stalkers. And 2 Archons now being warped in. Those High Templar are out, and now Naniwa pushing up here. And Moon kind of falling back. Surprise still favors Moon. Zerglings are now out. A lot of Zerglings just now spawning. And he's got 30 Roaches on the way. This Immortal's going to get picked off. Archon up the front getting quite a few kills. 3 attack upgrades, 2 armor upgrades for Naniwa. And we've got 2 armor upgrades, 1 attack upgrade for Moon. And these players are just going right at it. The supply for both players dropping drastically here, but it looks like Moon is eventually going to fight this off. He's going to lose that Immortal, which actually got 6 kills there. And this, wow, Archon had 11 kills. And reinforcements from Naniwa over here. He's got some High Templars up on the way. And it looks like Moon's going to go for him for a counterattack. Even 2 Colossus out now. Good job there from Naniwa switching back to Colossus once the Corruptor count has been dropped. And Moon's going to go here for an attack. Looks like he's going to fall back too much. The reinforcements from Naniwa have shown up, and he's going to fall back. Smart move there by Moon. This base is now being rebuilt by Naniwa, and actually this one down here, so he's going to be actually ahead of Moon on bases, actually by 2 here. So Moon is behind in bases, and not something you want to be ZVP. But he does have quite a few hatcheries up here in his main, so he's got plenty of macro hatcheries, so losing those expansions isn't going to hurt his production too much. You can see his money is very low, so he's been keeping up the macro, except for his gas is extremely high. Maybe he needs to throw in some higher tech units there, because higher tech units do require more gas per unit. So maybe throw in a couple of Ultralisks or something. I don't know, but he definitely has a lot of gas at this point. Quite a few more Banelings popping out. Going to try and do that drop once again. It seems like Moon has kind of reached his... Oh, losing a high Templar there. It seems like Moon has kind of reached his pinnacle of his unit combination he's going for this game. We're 28 minutes into this, and he really hasn't got out of this phase. He's really not transitioning into Ultralisks or Broodlords or anything. And I don't know whether or not that's what his plan is, or if he just doesn't know anything to do past this. Not quite sure, but this is, I guess, what he's tested quite a bit on ladder. And in practice, is, I guess, one of his favorite unit combinations. We have another big attacker. Baneling's going to come in from the top. Death from above, and all those Banelings dealing so much damage. That was a great carpet bomb. And he just took out so many Stalkers there. And there's still quite a few Immortals up, 3 Immortals up, and so many Stalkers also. He's going to lose so many Overlords here. He's going to get supply box supply down to 89 for Moon. And Moon GG's right there. Wow, good job from Naniwa this game. He had, it seems like, the perfect amount of pressure throughout the entire game. Pressured just enough to kill those 2 outer expansions. Said, you know what, Moon, you could have those 4 bases, that's fine, but I wanna make sure you stay on those 4 bases the entire game. And he pushed up, kills those expansions, falls back. And another thing Naniwa did that game very well is after he saw the large number of Corruptors, he said, you know what, I'm not gonna make any Colossus for a while. I'm gonna transition into some Immortals. And that was a really smart move, because I think for at least 2 fights there, he had just Corruptors that weren't actually doing anything. So those fights went really cost effectively for Naniwa. And Moon tried to do a lot of those Baneling drops. I really would have liked to see him do some Baneling drops, on the probe count. I mean, he already had all the upgrades, so I think doing some drops on the Naniwa's mineral line would actually been pretty effective. I don't think he did that any of this game. Maybe he did it. I just didn't notice it. But I'll throw that up in the highlights if I did miss that. But I think that would have been actually something you could have used in this game. But anyways, that was a really cool back and forth game. Nice long macro game there from both players. Hope you guys enjoyed it. So we're going to have Naniwa up 1-0 versus Moon. And that's going to lead us on into game number 2 next.